That was it, man. I'm in recovery mode now. We got the Lake Arthur Kids Tournament coming up on June 4th. Um Super excited. I was paired up today with my father and son duo, and I'm
Oh yeah,
really
we heard we heard you got like a I don't know, like a gold package.
I am very excited to have Rob Plocki and his son Jase out on the boat. And I
Well,
like, dude,
Didn't Jace win the Leopardi the
yes.
coloring contest?
Yes, he
Yeah.
did, and we
Oh, is
talked
he
about it
bringing
today. He
bringing
is
the
good.
bait?
He's gonna bring the bait. I believe he's gonna bring the bait. I gotta sure things up with
Nice.
Rob, but I think he's gonna bring it, and we're gonna run it, and hopefully we can find him a fish. But I never want to get I never want to let myself think these fish are gonna cooperate. Like I want to just go out and have fun. We kind of talked about that today. Like I want to load the boat with Capri Sun and I just want to go have a good time, and that's what we're gonna do. And if we get a fish, great. If not, it'll be what it'll be. But
Yeah, Jase! Yeah, Jase! Dude, let's freaking go!
what is up, Yins guys? Welcome
What's up,
back
Brandon?
to welcome back to another episode of Fishing PA with Ryan Reed, and we've got a couple special guests tonight. We're gonna do a little special Zoom cast tonight because we have a bit of a story to tell from a trip earlier this year, right? So we've got on the phone tonight Mr. Rob and Mr. Jase Plocki. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's happening?
What's going on, Jase? What's on your shirt there?
What you got?
What did the
Green.
musky hunks? Those
Yeah, Muskie Max
rascals.
repping. Those guys. Those guys.
Those guys. So basically, we've been talking for musky fishing for a little bit now, and we had an opportunity earlier this year to fish a tournament, which is really our Muskies Inc. Chapter 16, Three Rivers, our Muskie Club here on the western side of the state holds this like youth outing, right? So we have every year they have essentially a bunch of families out with their kids, and it's an awesome opportunity to get some people out on the boat and do a little musky fishing. Right? Is that fair?
Yeah, yeah.
So you guys, just to kind of get into this a little bit, we wanted to tell this story because Jace had a couple of pretty awesome things happen. I just think it was a super fun thing, and we didn't really do as much video as I wanted to. So tonight's our opportunity to tell that story, if that's fair.
Yes, sir. You ready?
Yeah. Okay. So let me go back. So what kind of prompted you guys to want to do the youth outing?
Well, it's something I wanted to do last year, but I felt like he was too young, and my older son Joey just wasn't digging it. So I held off, and I thought I'll bring Jace to Muskie Max this year and see, because he likes to come fishing with me. He's caught some nice trout, some bass, different things like that. But obviously, Muskie's a whole different beast. So I wanted to make sure he was into it before I kind of dragged him into it. And, as you know, Muskie Max went pretty well for him. So once that all unfolded, I kind of knew that we had to at least give it a try.
All right, so
It
let's go back. So you guys, okay, this is perfect because that's why the club has this event is to get younger kids out and really musky fishing is a daunting task. Some days out on the water to be able to get kids these fish. But before we get into this, let's go back to Muskie Max. So for anybody watching this video that doesn't know what Muskie Max is one of our biggest muskie fishing expos here in the state of Pennsylvania. Typically held in Cannonsburg, PA at Princecap Arena. It's a really fun event. There's a lot of vendors that come out, a lot of musky lures, a lot of musky, rods and nets and terminal tackle. Jase, what did you think of Muskie Max this year?
Great.
It was great. It is great.
Yep.
So that's what Muskie Max is all about. And really that environment's super conducive to families. There's like a kids station and all this other stuff. You can get food in the event. So it's kind of a cool day to get the family out there and get them surrounded by muskies and muskie fishing. But so Rob, walk me through like what was going on with Muskie Max, because there was something special going on at one of the booths.
So, like you said, they got a lot of stuff for kids, and which is huge because that's a busy day. There's a lot of walking around, a lot of going on. So, Jase, I know for sure, and I saw a lot of other kids that really enjoyed the snacks, the bottles of water and the snacks. And while we were over there, Leopardi's booth is right across the aisle there. And so while Jase was having a snack, I decided to go over and get him a coloring sheet that Todd and the Leopardis had set up for the kids to kind of design their own muskie lure. All the kids that day, they hung up their pictures and their name kind of went into a drawing. And I think on Sunday, they did the drawing after the show was over to pick a winner. And as you know, the winner, Todd was going to try to custom paint the winner's design. And as you guys will see, Jase had one interesting design.
So I remember standing at the front when they were doing like the awards and towards the end of the show there on Sunday. And I remember Todd doing the raffle right in front of, I think he had Joey Leopardi or actually it was Sean's son pull the raffle. And I hear over the loudspeaker,
said for whoever this little kid is, because that would be really cool. And just gonna draw. Go ahead. Pull the name. Open that up. Better read it.
Jase Plocki.
Gotta get out my eyeballs.
Jase Plocki. There is a phone number on there. They're gonna call Jase and let him know that he's the winner of the Leo Lures Coloring Contest for 2023. It's a great idea, a great way to get kids involved, and that's a big piece of what Muskie Max is all about. You see that we engage them and have them draw tickets and things like that. I always want the kids to feel like they're a part of this show. This is for them as well. So
Jase Plocki, and I was like, I know him. It's like I know his dad. Yep. So that was super cool to hear that. So Jase, you won the coloring contest at the Leo Lures booth. So why don't you show us what that lure looked like? Go ahead and bring it in closer to the camera. Take a look at that bad boy. Now, if anybody listens to the Muskie Hunks podcast, we tried to describe this thing the best we could, but the best way is to show that thing off. So you've got blues, greens, yellows, oranges, reds, silver scale. That is one wild design. So Jase, how did you come up with that?
I just looked and I just saw colors I liked and I just started freestyling it.
Freestyling it. That is awesome, dude. So you're just out there freestyle painting.
Pretty much. Picked out the colors he liked and he tried to draw a pattern that he thought looked cool, and this was the result. I mean, I don't think there's another bait like it, that's for sure.
No, we'll show a picture of that actual coloring sheet here. And man, that's super awesome. So, Jase, did you think you could catch a fish on that bait?
I hoped I would.
You hoped you. Okay. All right. Well, so this kind of brings us a little bit further down the road. So you won the coloring contest. You guys had an awesome time at Muskie Max, right?
We had a great time for sure. Can't wait till next year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then so that was back in March when that happened, beginning of March. And then we've been kind of talking, muskie fishing for a couple months, and then this kids outing pops up. You guys know this was the first year I had a boat. So I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous signing up, but I knew I wanted to do that event because I think that's just such a cool thing for the kids to be able to get out there. And again, muskie fishing is super hard. Like the expectations, I go out on the water, and if you get one fish, that's a great day to me. So, thinking through this, like I had a couple things that I was a little concerned about. It's like, number one, I'm relatively new to this boat and I have no idea what I'm doing. And Rob can attest to that, putting it in and taking it out of the water.
No, you were fine. You did good.
So it was nice. This event was scheduled. We had really decent weather too, I would say.
Oh,
Probably like upper 70s maybe.
yeah, it was a great day.
Yeah, so how this came about was basically I signed up for the event. You guys signed up for the event, and it was just kind of luck of the draw, right? Like
Yep.
I got a text from Joe Morrow, our chapter president, and he said, "Hey, if you're good, you're rolling with Rob and Jase Plocki." And I was like, "Let's go!" I immediately texted the Muskie hunks and said, "I just drew Rob and Jase Plocki." I was all fired up, man. I was super excited to get out there with you guys. So,
Yeah.
what kind of take me through that day? So, like, you guys tell me tell us the story, like how you guys prepped. Like, Jase, were you nervous at all? Were you looking forward to getting out on the water?
I was kind of nervous, but I was like, I need to catch the muskie today.
Catch a muskie.
You
Yeah.
need to catch a muskie today.
Yeah, he was pretty amped up. We had to get up a little early. I had everything ready to go pretty much the night before. Not that we needed a lot of stuff, but the most important thing is he wanted to make sure he had his lure, which I guess we didn't mention. This one that we showed you here. If you notice, there's no hooks on it. That's his shelf queen, so he can hang on to it. And I shouldn't say I had. Todd graciously agreed to paint a second one so we could fish it and attempt to catch a fish on it. So that was like, that was what he wanted to make sure made it on the boat. And it did. And, we got there a little early. He was anxious, asking a lot of questions, and you pulled up. And, we were ready to rock once you got out, and then you hit him with some nice gifts.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that, which
No,
that's fine. We don't need to talk about that.
I mean that kicked the day off really well for him, though. I think that was like he probably could have went home after that, fished those other baits.
See, that to me, like being able to do this, because I look at this as like that to me was like a privilege to be able to do that event and take you guys out. Like that was something that I wanted to make sure I did. And I hope other people do that too, because that event, like Jase, that day was all about you, buddy. That was your day on the water.
It was awesome. And I say it all the time, like we appreciate you doing that. Like, you didn't have a dog in the fight, you didn't have to do that. And, you willingly gave up your day, your time, gas, everything else, basically to get us out on the water to try to get him his first muskie, which, I don't think any of us, were expecting a muskie. Certainly not the way it panned out, but we were hoping. And, so thanks for donating the time, because it turned out to be quite the adventure.
Yeah, man, that was part of it. Like you volunteer for that stuff, and that's the type of thing that I want to do. That's what I want to be involved with. And dude, we had a great day, but like, we launched the boat. I think everything went pretty smooth.
Yeah, absolutely.
We get out on the water and we're trolling, and that's what we decided to do that day was troll. We kind of started off a little deeper, and then we kind of started working around. And for those of you that are watching this that don't know, that event is actually held up on Lake Arthur. So, Lake Arthur, typical trolling program. You're kind of bouncing in and out of roadbeds, things like that. And we get probably a couple hours in. I knew Jase was getting all hopped up on sugar.
Yeah. He sure was. Got the tunes going and
Definitely got the tunes going. So, okay. So, Jase, we're what, 3 hours into the day at this point?
I think so. And I don't think the camera was rolling at that point.
Camera was not rolling at all.
No.
And what I want to ask here is, we put on some tunes. What were we rocking on the boat?
21 Pilots.
21 Pilots. That's what we started with.
Yes.
So that's Jase's jam. So we had Jase's perch out there trolling away. We were listening to the 21 Pilots, and I believe somebody had to break out into dance, right?
Who was dancing?
Tell us about this Muskie dance. Tell us about this Muskie dance.
Oh, so I just like to dance sometimes, and sometimes I just can't figure out what dance to do, so I just do a random dance, and that's what I came up with.
That's amazing. That was one of the highlights of my day, was dancing with you guys on the boat.
Shaking and grooving.
Yeah, and I remember at one point, our good friend Evan Shoss was driving by, and I was dancing, and I looked over at him, and I gave him a lasso, and I whipped it out there, and he just looked at me, shook his head, put his head down, and kept trolling.
Gotta dance, Jared. Gotta dance. Get up and dance. Shake it. Crush out. There, you ready, Jase? You ready? Here it comes. Is that him again? There it is. He is.
Hey, some people just don't know how to have fun, right?
It was amazing. It was amazing. So, all right, to make this rather, I don't think it's a long story. We kind of tried a bunch of different baits, right? Like, we were trolling deep, we were trolling shallow, we were bouncing around Wileys, Leos, perch baits, DKs, whatever else you guys wanted to run. Meatball. Oh, that's right. We snagged a meatball. A pretty nasty snag on that.
We got it back. That was a big win.
That was a win. I forget about that. That's like the minor detail stuff. So at this point, it's like 12 o'clock. And we're out there, and we still don't have a single rip.
No. And we had to be in by what, 2?
We had to be in by 2. So we get snagged. We lose about a half an hour, probably, whatever time frame that was. And I just remember kind of working our way back in that one specific area, and we saw Mr. Kellen Campbell catch a fish right in front of us.
Yes.
Do you remember what we said to each other?
Something about his speed.
Yes.
How fast he was going.
We looked at each other and we said, "Did you notice how fast he was going?"
Yeah.
So, and keeping in mind too, like, this worked out perfectly for me too, because Rob, you fish for Muskies, so you've got enough experience on boats and things like that where you could drive. Jase was out there driving for a little bit, right? How did you like driving the boat?
Very good.
You liked it? You gotta get Dad on board to get you guys a little boat to get out there and putz around on.
Pushing mama little by little to let her.
It only took me, what I tell you, it took me 37 years.
That's all.
Yeah, that's all. It was worth the wait.
I'm getting close. I exceeded 37, but if I'm short, if I'm falling behind just by a little bit, I should be getting close.
Fingers crossed.
That's right.
So, okay, so we're out there. We notice Kellen's speed, and we're starting to get towards 1 o'clock, I think is what I had the timestamp here. So, you guys want to walk me through it?
Yeah, I mean, at that point we had beaten down that one section pretty good. We did quite a few passes. Like you said, we noted his speed, and I think at that point we were just like, it's crunch time. We got to make a move.
We need to bump that
You know,
speed up.
let's get the speed up a little bit, and let's hit maybe a little deeper water. You know, it didn't seem like many people were moving through that area, so was that the first pass out there? I think it was.
It was the very first pass out in
Yeah.
deeper water, which for anybody asking, 17 feet of water.
17 feet. So we knew it wasn't a snag, because that's the first thing I looked at when the rod went off, is how deep we were, and saw 17 feet, and I think we all kind of just. I think you said, "That's a fish. That's a fish," and we all kind of jumped up. I don't know. It started to blur a little bit for me, because I was like, "We can't lose this thing," and at that point, I think I helped Jase grab the rod, or you grabbed the rod and hand it to Jase. I think I grabbed it to help him just kind of keep the tip up.
Yeah, so let's talk through this for a second, and I'll play the clip of the video here in between,
Okay.
but let's talk about this, because we did kind of talk about this ahead of time. We're like, if we do get a fish, like, I'll get the rod and hand it to Jase. You get on the rod with him to help him reel. So
Right.
anytime especially with 3 people on my boat, like you really kind of got to plan that stuff out and know where you're going with everything.
Yeah.
But I'll
Don't see in the clip that it's a little tight with the seat there when we were trying
Yes.
to back up for you to net the fish.
yeah, and I learned my lesson on that.
That's
I,
all right.
I have an adjustment.
It worked out that day.
Yeah. So, okay. So we're trolling. We make that cut out. The rod goes off. I knew and instantly it was a fish. I grabbed the rod. You guys jump up and I hand Jase the rod. And I remember thinking to myself, should I let go of this right now?
Here, bud. Put that down. Put that down. There you go, bud. Keep reeling. Good fish. Real fine. Good song here. You're okay. Take your time. When Ron says back up, back up. Keep reeling, bud. That's a good fish, man. Keep reeling. Just keep reeling.
No, you shouldn't.
So Jase has the rod. Rob, you jump on with him. You guys start cranking. So Jase, like, what's going through your mind right now? Like during that time, what was going through your mind?
If that is my lure that I made,
Yeah, we didn't
I'm
realize
really gonna jump off the boat.
we didn't realize right away that was the lure or the rod.
We didn't realize it right
I
away.
didn't help him reel at all. He did all the reeling. All I did was keep that rod tip up, help him keep that rod tip up. So he did a really good job, and that was, not the biggest fish in the world, but for a 7-year-old, that was that was a good fish to bring in. It was out there. I forget how much line was out there, but it wasn't close to the boat.
No, we had that bait 5 feet down, which was the interesting part. Because I looked at the clicker right before that, and I had it at 25, which 5.5 feet with the leader. But like that's the thing. Like you guys started cranking, and I started clearing rods. And if you actually look at the footage, I was so ramped up, I cleared the board rod, and I should have never cleared that rod.
Keep going, buddy. Keep going, bud. Getting close, Ron. I just trust they just put your pin. I didn't put it in neutral yet. It's okay. Real, buddy, real. Alright, throw that back.
I should have went to the other side.
I think you mentioned that on the podcast. I went and rewatched it, and I'm like, yeah, he probably could have definitely let that go.
Yeah, I could have left the board go, but I knew that we needed to get that side clear, so that worked out fine. But I remember after I cleared that rod, I grabbed the net, you guys slid back, and I slid in, and I looked out, and I saw that lure hanging out of that fish's mouth,
Yeah.
and immediately thought to myself, we cannot lose this fish. There is no option.
Once I noticed that's what it was, my heart was pounding as it was. I wanted that fish because I wanted him to be able to see it up close, touch it, do all that. But when I saw that lure, I was just like, I'm jumping in if I have to.
So I want to talk about this because one thing I noticed, and if you watch the footage, I'm back behind the boat for a little while. Like I'm waiting for you guys to pull the fish to me.
Yeah.
And I noticed that we were still in gear, which normally I would leave it in gear and slow down. But when I look back at you guys, it didn't seem like you could get enough leverage to get the fish to me.
Yeah, I was fighting for how short he is and how hunched over I was. I was struggling getting that rod up, and we were up against that second seat. And I was trying to figure out a way to get around it without taking the rod from him because I wanted to make sure,
Yeah.
his hands were on the rod the entire time. And so when you made that maneuver, that was like the life-saving moment.
I turned and reached. You were like, I remember you saying, Ryan, and I knew the fish was there, but it wasn't quite there. And soon as I shut that motor off, that fish walked right around and she went in right into the bag. What happened, Jase?
You remember that moment? Once it was in the net?
We just started screaming.
What'd you scream?
What?
The audio cut out there. You got to do it again.
Oh, man. Too loud.
Do it again.
What?
That's exactly what happened too. Like
that's what happened.
Yeah, Jase! Yeah, Jase! Dude, let's freaking go! Yeah, Jase! That's a nice fish, Jase! The bait's out. Holy cow. Look at that head, man. Look at that head. Right, on that bait, hold on. Hold up.
take your time. Just
I'm gonna have a heart attack right now.
here, just
hold on, let me get a picture of this.
yeah, get a couple.
Look like a freaking eel.
You know what, dude? I gotta keep us moving a hair.
Yeah, keep us from dropping. Just goes out the middle. Dude. Yeah, Jase!
Let's go.
Oh man, Jason, stand right here. Sit down right by the bag. Come on, get in there. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Good son! Let's freaking go!
All right, do me a favor. Hold this net. You
I tried
were
to
fired up.
blow the mic out that time.
So we were three fired up human beings on that boat with
Yeah.
what was that, a 38? Is that what that was?
37, I think it was.
37-inch muskie. So
Yeah, I think it was 37.
so Jase, like, man, fish is in the net. What were you thinking when you're well, let me ask this first, because Rob, this was kind of a funny thing. Like, that fish was in the bag. We popped the bait out and you were trying to wrangle that fish. What was going on there?
Dude, I couldn't do anything. I was paralyzed. You handed me your
The bogas.
yeah, you handed me your bogas, and I'm like, oh, I open them up, I get it in the fish's mouth, and it pops out. I open it up, I get it in the fish's mouth, and I'm like this. Something's got to change, you know. So I think I handed you the bogas or threw them behind me or something, and I just picked it up. I didn't want, I wanted things to move along, but like, I literally was blacked out pretty much. I couldn't get over the fact that it was on that lure. Couldn't get over the fact that, we worked all day, all those baits, just the whole thing. The fact that from Muskie Max to that point, everything that happened, that was like the icing on the cake. And it literally, I keep telling people it was like a Disney movie ending, like you like
Storybook.
that, you want that to happen, but you don't think it's ever going to actually happen. And his first lure catches him his first muskie, and yeah, at the time, I mean, he's 8 now, but at the time he was still 7 years old, and that's just like, not many kids can say that. I certainly can't.
Yeah, I can't either. So, Jase, what did you think when your dad pulled that fish out of the net? It was a pretty fat one.
Sure was. Thanks. Speak up.
Best moment of my life.
Yeah, before we started, he said winning this was the best moment of his life until that happened. And I'm like, well, that's 2 pretty good moments are going to be hard to beat. That's for sure.
That's one of those things. So we kind of wrapped the day up. I don't know if we got snagged again or not. I think that was pretty much it. So we get that fish in the bag. We're all going nuts. It was time to celebrate. You released
Yeah.
that fish, and then we had about an hour left until that event was over. So the end of the day, we just kind of get off the water. We putz over to the pavilion. Have what? Good pizza.
Yeah. Good pizza and then some giveaways.
So what happened over there?
That was.
How many baits did you won quite a few baits over there?
He did. I can't even remember one in particular that I'm not going to forget, because if you remember the week leading up to that, we were talking about some baits that have been hot, and I put an order in with Todd, and I was debating between a few colors. What was it? Flow perch, purple tiger, and
Yep.
I think there was another one, but I can't remember. We went with the flow perch, which we ran all day that day and didn't catch anything. But I think we talked about that purple tiger a few times, and then there we are at the pavilion, and they called Jase's name, and he walks up front, and because I think we were in the very back of the pavilion at that point, so I didn't know what it was till he came walking back, and he hands it to me, and it's none other than a Leopardi Purple Tiger Mojo. So
And there it was, the icing on the cake.
we'll see. We'll see if there's a story with that one to be continued.
Yeah, TBC on that one. We'll come back to that. But Jase, how did you like the event? How did you like the pavilion and the food and everything?
Very good.
Yeah.
I think he enjoyed that. Played with some of the other kids, and can't go wrong with a bunch of pizza. And they had a lot of pizza.
They did. There was a lot of food there. So
Chips, lots of stuff to give away for the kids. No, I don't think any kids went home empty-handed.
No.
I'm pretty sure most of them had their hands full. So
yeah, that was hats off to Charlie and Joel and everybody that donated. Kellen Campbell at Mac Discount. I can't remember everybody's name right now that contributed, but I know somebody had contributed, money for first, second, and third. And I think, if I remember correctly, I think Jase would have got like fifth.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I got 5th.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So you were right somewhere in there. That's pretty good. There was like 20 something kids, I think.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good turnout. But yeah, man, shout out to Chapter 16, Three Rivers Muskies Inc. What a great event, giving us an opportunity to get out there and make some memories.
Absolutely, man. That was killer. ton of fun. I mean, obviously it was extra special for us, but I can't see how any kid would do that and, you know, not walk away just wanting more, you know.
Yeah.
Awesome experience. I don't know what other chapters do, but if any chapter is going to do one event a year, they should do it for the kids, because just an incredible opportunity, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it's super cool. I know New York, they're trying to start their youth outing up there, chapter 69, Katia Rivers. So hopefully that goes well. And, you know,
Yeah.
I love seeing this stuff, man. That's what it's all about. So,
Absolutely.
Jase, you're a muskie catching machine now.
Right.
You ready? Are you ready to get back out there on the water and catch another one?
Yes.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go.
We've been so busy lately too. We haven't been fishing at all, so we both got the itch.
Yeah.
You know, but that's how it goes. 5 kids and, you know, life in general.
I understand. I don't have any kids, but I understand.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, that's all we wanted to talk. We just wanted to tell the story because, man, that was such a great day on the water. Rob and Jase, I had so much fun with you guys out there doing a little bit of musky fishing, and you know that was just something I'll never forget. And honestly, Jase, you're gonna have a very special little part of my boat because I decided to print out a bunch of stickers, and I'm getting everybody's name that's caught a fish in my boat, and I'm gonna pin it right on the boat. And for everybody that catches a muskie, it's gonna go up there, and Jase Plocki is gonna have his spot right there.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate everything you did. You know, that obviously was a special day. It was great to spend it with you. We appreciate you, you know, taking time out of that day and taking us out there, and now taking time to do this. Jase has been looking forward to this too. You know, just get to brag a little bit on video, so he can send it to some of his friends later. You know, so
There you go.
we appreciate it, Ryan.
Yeah, man, anytime. Looking forward to getting back out there with you guys. Hopefully we can do it again, if not this summer, maybe in the fall. So we'll see. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys. It was a bunch of fun, and I can't wait to do it again. So keep grinding,
Awesome.
as Joe Morrow would hate to say. Keep grinding.
Always grinding, baby.
All right, Jason. Anything else you got, Jase? You want to leave us with some musky dance?
Give us-
You know, musky dance. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, boys. I appreciate it. Looking
Thanks-
forward to
thanks
the
a
next
lot.
time. Yep. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
All right, see ya.
Yeah, Jase! Yeah, Jase! Let's freaking go! Yeah, Jase! Nothing but yeah, Jase! The face off. Holy cow. Look at that head, man.
How's it feel catching a muskie today?
I mean, really, really good.
Really, really good.
Yep. That was fun, huh?
That 38 was chunky.
You had what?